So this is how to customize your SOAP note screen. So after you check a person in and open up the screen, you have the ability to create this to look like however you want to suit your doctor needs. A lot of times you're going to see it and it may look something like this when you first open your Katana platform, but I want you to understand that everything on this screen is completely customizable to make sure that we can create high efficiency and flow in your offices. So a couple things to note about this. Over here in the upper left-hand corner, you see something called panels. If you click on this panels button, you will see all of the customizable options that you have that can be present on this screen. Patient information, insurance information, SOAP summary, ability to edit your ICDs, your charges, and your SOAP notes all from this screen. The images, if you upload x-rays, what the current charges are and the current ICDs are, along with patient's notes, not SOAP notes. We're going to go over this in a later section of what kinds of things could go in here. The ability to see the listings, a visit quick list, which allows you to get a snapshot of how often the patient came in and allows you to see exactly what they were having going on, the SOAP notes that you input over the subsequent visits in the past. Also, SOAP note macros, which is where most doctors love to live. And you can see that we also have a very specialized area, which is a NUCA panel that's specific for that technique. Okay, so the important thing about this panel section is if those buttons are checked, that means that they are somewhere active and being used. If they're unchecked, that means they're hidden and you can't see them. So for me, let's just say that I would love to have on here my charges. I am going to click that button. Now you're like, well, where did it go? Right? If I click panels again, you can see that the charges button is checked. That means that it's somewhere on the screen and it is being hidden by all of these other panels that are currently being viewed. So something to note about the panels. First off, you can drag and move around panels by clicking right on this top blue bar, holding down the button, and then moving it around. As you can see, this tells me where I'm going to move this entire panel to. I can move it all the way to the very top above the Visit Quick List section. I can move it to the right of it, to the left of it, or keep it where it is down below. I can also click this and I can move it over to the right. If I do that, you can see actually it moved it all the way over, so it's bringing it on the other side. And it pushes everything else out of the way. So you have to kind of get used to the way that these are. See, that moves that back over to the left. So it tells you where you want it to go. There, voila, now that we've moved some things around, opened up some space, we can see the charges panel that I decided that I wanted to be active. So for me, this is not how I love my screen to look. I do love my listings so that I can see those. I love my images. I do like the ability to see charges, but here's the thing. I don't like them in the active patient section. What I want to do is I want to what's called pin this to the side of this screen. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this and I'm going to move it to the left here. I'm going to go up to this pin button. I'm going to click it and voila, boom, it moves it to the left portion of my screen. So now the panel is active, but it's not stuck on my screen here. I can just go hover over it whenever I want to see what's going on versus having it take up, wonderful space when I'm viewing the patient file. Now begins the customization of what I want this to look like. I want this to go here. I want to see my SOAP notes. I can drag and decide how much space I want it to take up. I want it to take up the whole screen. Let's say that I don't want this to take up all of that. Look at that. Voila. I can move that. Here I've got my visit quick list. I can just hover over that quick list to see my SOAP notes. I've got my listings, my images, everything that I could want to navigate this section. The other thing that you may want on here, if you wanted to always see what the ICDs were, we can get those up. You can see the last ICDs. We can put them to the left of the macros screen. Or if you want, you can take it again. Maybe you want to move it below this so it's not taking up a ton of space. Customize it, and boom. Now you've got a screen that allows you to navigate exactly the way that you want. You can click on your soap notes and you can enter in your soap notes, have those right in the middle of your screen. You can look at your listings for a quick view. You've got your quick list to see what happened, visit quick list to see what happened in the past. You've got your charges. Maybe you want to have all the ability to edit your charges. We can do that. We don't want you to take up space. So instead, we're going to pin you to the side. Now I can just click and hover over that. And from right here, I can get rid of charges. I can add charges. And then voila, hover off of it. It goes away and I'm back to the screen to do exactly what I want. So here's the ticket. Once you customize this screen, number one, you need to ensure that you're doing this only logged in to one computer at a time. Otherwise, your changes won't save. But after you've got it exactly how you want, just click checkout. And now it's saved. Now I can go back in anytime that I want. I can review. I can go into my screen and it's exactly how I left it. And I can use it exactly in the way that makes the most sense for me and my office. Happy customizing.